Welcome back to the channel. Today's video, pretty chill one. We're just gonna go back to basics. I need to change the tires on the FZ-09. They're not worn out, but I have something in the mix that I'm cooking that I want to, work on the bike to ensure that, I have two fresh tires, actually put in. So, being said that, if you don't know how to remove both of your tires in terms of like, front wheel, rear wheel from the bike, I'm gonna show you that. I'm gonna show you the tools you need. I'm gonna show you why you don't need to be scared about this if you have never done it. If you have done it in the past, maybe you can just take a look at what I did, and maybe you can just, pick up a couple things from you, or you can even send me a comment and say, hey Richard, you know what, I've done this in the past and it was great, whatever. So whatever it is, just come with me and I'll be more than happy to, work with you and kind of walk you and show you the process. Something that I'm going to be doing today that is not something that I normally do is to actually remove everything while the bike is on the actual lift down, make sure that the bike is safe. And bike is not going to be going anywhere, but as soon as the bike is making pressure against the stand, we should be okay. But please, this is not a how to do this portion. This is just how I'm choosing to do it. If you feel more comfortable just doing it on the ground, then that by any means that's a decision you have to make. And let's lift it. Okay, that was very uneventful. I think it feels pretty sturdy. I feel, they have enough stand, on the surface. So bike feels good. So I think it's time for me to tighten the straps and we should be good to go. All right, so you probably have seen this before, you have done it yourself, but in case you didn't know, in order to remove the rear, you're going to be needing a 27mm socket, doesn't have to be deep, and then a ratchet and a 12, so you can, remove or take out some of the tension on the adjuster so you can free up some of the tension on the chain and the wheel is gonna actually come out easy. Okay, so obviously you have this video for reference, but in case you want to keep an eye on, the order of the things and in the position they go, I take, my stuff and I put it in on order. I may take a picture or not, and then I put the washer, and then once I remove the tension here, I can remove this block, and now I know that the block comes after. So, at this point, I should be able to go on the other side and remove the tension, and I should be able to remove the axle right now. So I'm tightening the bolt so that I can have some back and forth movement that's gonna help me to kind of free up the sprocket and remove the chain. All right, so with a rubber mallet, I'm just gonna be tapping on the axle so it get pushed to the other side. Once I I'm able to pull it out, I'm just gonna be kind of ready to start kind of pulling, actually pushing the wheel in order to release the sprocket from the chain. One thing you want to keep an eye on is there's a few spacers in here that you also want to take into consideration. Where do they go and what position they go in. So they're just going to be falling off, so you just kind of have to track them. Okay, so at this point I'm just going to be pulling the axle. Axle is going to be coming with the adjuster block. Just wiggle it. I'm just going to be pulling. Okay, so that was the first spacer. So now I'm gonna go ahead and release the chain from the sprocket by just, resting it in here. Now I'm gonna come this side and lift the wheel so I don't scratch it and free it up from the caliper. Sometimes you forget how to do it, okay? What I did was just trying to create some spacing so I can free up the caliper without having to, damage all my wheel. So now, wheel is out. This is the spacer. Since I know this is the way it came up, I'm just gonna put it on the same pile, and this is everything from the right side, and then from the left side I'm going to be Now this is the spacer that came from the left side. So I'm just gonna put that one in here as well. And voila, wheel is out. So now let's just move to the front. All right, so the front a little bit different to the rear, of course. You're gonna have to remove the caliper first, because otherwise you're not gonna be able to remove the wheel, because they're just gonna be, trying to fight the caliper on their way out. So you're gonna need a 12 millimeter socket so you can remove both of the bolts that are holding to the caliper to the bracket. If you want to remove the fender, you're going to be using a number 4, so you can remove the 4 bolts, 2 on each side, and then you're going to be using either one of the tools that they sell to specifically just to remove axles, or you can use a hexagonal tool to a number 14 in this case, so you can start the process of untightening these axle. So one thing that it's important to understand or to know is the fact that if you don't have any of these two, there are chances that you have a socket similar to the spark plug ones, where you can actually have a hexagonal part at the bottom, so you can actually reverse it and then insert it in here and use it. But that's in case of an emergency. But if you have the tools, better just to use what's designed for that. All right, cool. Let's get to it. Can remove the axle, we have to undo the pinch bolt. I was not able to find my hex that goes into a wrench or into a ratchet, so I'm just gonna use this for leverage. And number 6 is what you need. Okay, so now it's moving, no issues. I'm just gonna take it easy, and then whenever we're installing, I'll make sure to give you guys the torque values for each of these bolts. Okay. So now we should be able to remove the axle. Okay. So now I'm just gonna go ahead with a screwdriver with no bit in it, and I'm just gonna hit it with my mallet, ensuring that I'm not making any damage to the threads. Okay, so you can see the axle coming out from the left side. So a couple more taps, and you'll see how the axle is completely free. So at this point I can just kind of move the wheel, and I'm just gonna be pulling, and voila, the wheel is completely off. Here you can see some of the spacers that are part of the wheels. So this area that's dirty, that's the area that's going to be going to the outside. So if you don't want to keep them in place, you can leave them back, and the clean side is the one that's actually touching the wheel. And then same, it's true for the other side. So I'm just gonna remove it. There you go, you can see it. And the area that's dirty, like I mentioned on the other one, is the area that's looking out or facing out. So now I can completely remove it. I have a wheel chock not a wheel chock, but actually a stopper, I guess, on my lift that I can show you right now. That I thought it was going to be preventing me from being able to remove the wheel without the fender, but yep, wheel is completely free. Nothing else we need to do. All right, what did we learn today? We learned that it's easy. We just have to tackle it. Honestly, it's not that big of a deal just to remove wheels, and it's a good thing to know. And a more use case, which is my use case specifically, is shops will charge you $50 for each of the wheels they're actually removing. So that's a lot of money. So let's say, like for example, in my case, I wanted to change the tires because I wanted to, not because I had to. So I don't have the luxury to spend $100 every time I want to try something different. So in this case, I can at least save some money by doing this portion myself, ensuring that this is everything torqued down to specs the only way I know how to do it, and not having to trust someone else do it for me. Normally in this real life scenario, if you were to take the wheels as opposed to taking the bike, normally they will do it for you for half a price. So instead of paying $100, you just say $50. and instead of like $50 per axle, they'll probably do it for 25. But please call the place before. Another thing, I mean, sometimes I do it because people are not careful. So these blue wheels, I mean, it's not a paint that I can probably paint them, but I don't want to paint them. So if I don't want to paint them, and I want to be the one who ensure that it's gonna, you know, stay as much as possible, you know, untouched, I want to keep them, and I want to do it myself to ensure that I'm going to be taking care of my things the way I know how to do it. So, you know, that's what I learned. So hopefully you liked it. Back in a week, potentially just with the new tires, so you can kind of see in the direction that I'm going, and you can see exactly what I'm doing with my FZ-09. So thank you for joining. If you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to me, and I'll be more than happy to, you know, get back with you as quickly as possible. Thank you.